Fair. So let's discuss about the interview conversations as well.
Mhm.
So how are these interviews usually? What do they ask? What did you guys answer in
So
these
I'll
interviews?
start with Wharton. It's a bit of a non-traditional one. We do a team-based discussion, right? So it's basically the equivalent of a group discussion that Indian students may be familiar with. So it's like a 30 to 35 minute conversation that you would be expected to have, of which 20 to 25 minutes is a group discussion with a team of five to six other people who are also applying to Wharton, right? So very similar profile, who would essentially be either your future classmates or people you're competing with. So you'd be essentially given a prompt which is announced usually like a month or two in advance. So you know exactly what's going to be asked. So you have the luxury of time to do the right research, to bring the right perspectives. Like in my year, for example, the prompt was, hey, design a global immersion program. So earlier I'd mentioned that Wharton does these international programs, and what is the best way to design one was like the question, right? And the goal of this team-based discussion is not to say, hey, I've done the research, I feel this is the perfect country, my answer is correct. If that is not the goal. In fact, that will sort of give you negative marks. The goal of this particular interview is to prove that you can harmoniously work with a team that you've not met before. So the goal of this is sort of to say, okay, everyone's broad perspectives, right? In Wharton's interview, the first 5 minutes, each person gets a 1 minute pitch, right? So in my case, I would say, hey, I think we should go to Singapore. I feel it's relevant for ABC reasons. Here are the people that we can meet. Here is the kind of companies that we can sort of, get involved with. And here is a couple of cultural things that we can sort of immerse ourselves in. And everyone will sort of share a similar sort of rationale. And then it's an open forum, right? It's not moderated at all. Like the admissions person, which can either be an admissions officer or a second year student who's an admission fellow, I think similar to your role in Stanford, they will just sort of set the ball rolling, and then they'll just switch off their video, and then it's like it was virtual, so it was like the equivalent of a closed room, and it's completely there. If the whole team is able to work harmoniously and get to a consensus and sort of deliver a very coherent pitch, then most people in that group will largely get in, right? Even if someone had done, let's say, 60% of the speaking, but someone had done 10% of the speaking, but had great ideas and sort of helped move the whole team around, that is viewed as a success. There may also be situations where the whole team did not gel as appropriately, but they were able to achieve that outcome of, hey, here is the final answer. Then maybe 2 or 3 people from that group may go ahead, right? Because their sort of qualities exhibited were not sort of perfect. But then there may also be groups where you won't be able to, let's say, get to an answer because the group is just not gelling at all. It's completely hostile, not really cooperative. Then it's very likely that even if there is an extremely stellar candidate, the whole group is rejected, right? So the name of the game is just working well with others. So after that sort of group discussion's over, then you enter a 10-minute conversation one-on-one with the admissions officer, where they probably where they're probably going to ask you just one question: why do you want to do an MBA, and why is Wharton that college, right? That conversation is open-ended, can take anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes. So that was
This would be similar to what you wrote in your essay answer.
Yeah, it'll be
also
similar, but then much more personal,
Yeah.
much more detailed. It's much more about convictions and objectives and all of that. So
Got it.
similar to what you were saying, right? It's a mix of fact checking, but also sort of
Yeah.
understanding convictions a lot better.
Got it. Pretty interesting. Similar to both of you as well at Harvard.
No. I think Wharton has a very different process, and I think each college has a very different process. Yeah, Harvard's interview is 30 minutes, and it's sort of like a rapid fire interview. So basically, you get asked almost 25 questions in 30 minutes. So you have to quickly answer all of those questions. 2 parts to it. So first 15 minutes typically is a mock case, which is how the classes are conducted in HBS. So you have to talk about one particular topic that you have worked on, and then the interviewer keeps asking multiple follow-up questions on that. So for me, the first question was, just tell me about what have you worked on recently. That's where we started. I talked about some IPO preparation that we're doing for a portfolio company, and then the interview had multiple questions on why is the company doing an IPO, how will it help it, what are the processes. So basically, to understand, can you speak about what you're doing, can you participate in class discussions, can you contribute something extra to the class. So that is first 15 minutes. Second 15 minutes is the thing that we are talking about, that they then start fact checking what you have actually written in the essay. So whatever you have written in the essay, they will ask second level questions on it. What happened? Who were you working with? What did you actually work on when all of these things happened? So for me, it was in my essay I had written whatever I worked on at Blackstone with the portfolio company. Then they talked about the non-profit grant which I had raised. Then eventually I had also mentioned my extracurricular activities. So they talked about singing, dancing. How will you use that in HPS? So it was a very far. The last 10 minutes or so are can go anywhere depending on where you want to take it. But again, it's more about checking what you have written, making sure that you're not just inventing things out of thin air, and giving it credibility. As I was saying, I think by interview time, HBS interviewers, selectors have made up their mind that you are the good candidate, you can fit in class. They are just doing a second check that you will do good or no. And the conversion rate after the interview is almost 50%.
Okay.
So if there 2,000 people who have gotten shortlisted for interview, 1,000 will make it to the class.
Okay, got it. So in Harvard, it's 1,000 people in one batch.
One batch is 1,000.
Stanford, it's 400 you mentioned.
400.
And what is it in Wharton?
Around 850.
Okay, got it.